Using a manpad against an infantry fighting vehicle. What could go wrong? Hey guys, Mustang here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Twitter clip from one of FaZe Swagg's live streams of him playing Battlefield 6's new Red Sec Battle Royale mode, and him crashing out over not being able to use a manpad against an M3 Bradley infantry fighting vehicle. Let's get into it. So, for those of you who don't know who FaZe Swagg is, he is a member of the infamous FaZe Clan gaming group and esports team, and is also a very notorious Call of Duty streamer who has gained a great deal of internet backlash due to his controversial takes on Battlefield 6 since its beta, as well as the way he uses the support class during matches, not using it to help his teammates, but rather help himself by dropping the supply bag and hovering over it. Now, I'm going to show you guys the full clip from Twitter of FaZe Swagg crashing out on his live stream, and then I'm going to break down the clip, such as the specific manpad that he was trying to use against the M3 Bradley, why it didn't work, and what weapons he should have used if he had checked his engineer loadout before the match. I'm also going to give my own thoughts and opinions about what the Twitter post said of FaZe Swagg having a quote-unquote valid crashout over not being able to use the manpad against the Bradley. Here's the clip right now.
I'm
running, he's on me, he's shooting me.
I don't know why it's not shooting. It's just not shooting. It's just not shooting. It's not shooting. It's not. It's not shooting. Tank's pulling up, bro.
No.
Why is the rocket launcher not rocket launching? I have an anti-air
RPG.
That's anti-air, twin.
God damn it!
Anti-air,
anti-tank. Just give me a rocket to shoot it. Fuck!
What did I die by?
So, as you saw in that clip, FaZe Swagg had popped out of cover to try to use his manpad against the M3 Bradley. However, the manpad would not fire on the Bradley because that's not what it was designed to do. Manpads are not designed for anti-tank. They're designed for anti-air, and I'll elaborate on what manpad means and the specific manpad here in a moment. However, as we also see in the clip, FaZe Swagg is killed because he was out of cover and he could not fire off a missile, and the rest of his squad was finished off, landing them in the 4th place spot, and he had crashed out over realizing that he was using an anti-air missile launcher instead of an anti-tank, and then he went on to say, anti-tank, anti-air, just give me a rocket. And honestly, that is the least valid crash out I think I've ever seen a person have over certain weapon systems. Now, manpad is short for Man Portable Air Defense System. These are small, shoulder-fired, surface-to-air missile launchers that are crewed by 1 or even 2 operators, unlike the much larger mobile surface-to-air missile vehicles, which are operated by about a dozen or so operators. The specific manpad that FaZe Swagg was using in his clip was an FIM-92 Stinger shoulder-fired surface-to-air missile launcher, which has been in service with the United States military and the militaries of other countries since 1981, with one of its most recent new operators being the Ukrainians in their ongoing war against Russia. Now, in order to properly function, the Stinger has an infrared homing sight on the left-hand side of the launcher itself. This homing sight is able to lock on to enemy aircraft, primarily helicopters, though it can also lock on to jets as well if it can get away with it. Since the Stinger is a manpad, meaning that it's meant to destroy enemy aircraft like helicopters and even jets, it cannot be used against enemy ground vehicles like tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and other kinds of ground vehicles, especially since there's already a major abundance of different platforms and weapon systems that can be crewed by one or even two operators that are meant for anti-tank duty and excel at them very well. However, the Stinger can actually be utilized against enemy ground vehicles, but said ground vehicles need to be tagged. What do I mean by this? Well, somebody either A, running the recon loadout, or B, inside the remote control turret of an IFV, they can paint or tag enemy vehicles, either using the binocular or tracer dart gadgets for the recon loadout, or using a target designation system inside of an infantry fighting vehicle. In fact, I actually have a screen recording from my Xbox of me playing a match of Conquest and finding a Jeep that had been painted. And so I decided to use all three of my Stinger missile launchers against it. Granted, it didn't explode, and I think that's because it was somehow glitched in the particular area it was in, but it does prove that the Stinger can be used against ground vehicles in Battlefield 6. Here is the clip right now. However, since the M3 Bradley and FaZe Swagg's livestream was not painted or tagged in any way, the Stinger could not lock onto it and therefore could not fire, which resulted in him and his team losing their match of RedSec. Now, if FaZe Swagg had properly checked his engineer loadout before the match, he would have seen that there were more missile launchers for him to choose from, some of which do not require lock-ons to vehicles at all, such as the RPG-7 and the Law, as well as the M136 recoilless rifle. But then there's also the almighty Javelin itself sitting there as well. It does require a lock-on, but it is extremely powerful against various ground vehicles, and I think can actually be used against aircraft as well, though I'm not entirely sure since I don't have it unlocked yet, at least for me. All in all, FaZe Swagg's whole crashout on his livestream is not justified in the slightest, nor is it quote-unquote valid, as Jake Psyche claims in his post where the Twitter clip is from, as FaZe Swagg simply used the wrong weapon against the Bradley, and if he had checked his engineering loadout before the match, he could have equipped something else that would have actually functioned against the tank, like another rocket launcher, or even any kind of landmine, or those small little pop-up rocket pods that shoot up as soon as a tank gets close. And if anyone, like Jake Secchi or any other Call of Duty streamer, tries to continue to defend this crashout, stating that it's not only valid, but that the Stinger should just be used against any vehicle like the RPG-7 or the M136 recoilless rifle, then they are just flat out wrong, because certain weapons are designed for specific things. The Law, the RPG-7, and the M136 can be used against both ground and air vehicles. The Javelin can specifically be used only against ground vehicles, while the Stinger itself also can only go up against air vehicles and not ground vehicles. And that is it for today, guys. This clip honestly had me dumbfounded, mainly because Jake Sucky said that the crashout was valid, even though it completely was not valid and it was not justified, because it was simply FaZe Swagg's fault that he did not check his engineer loadout to make sure he had the proper weapons to be used against either ground vehicles or air vehicles, or simply both, like the RPG-7 or the M136, and it's what cost him the match. Now, before I hop off the video today and tell you guys to like, subscribe, and all that stuff, I want to let you guys in on something I have been doing for a while now, and that is fanfiction. You see, I am a fanfiction writer on Wattpad, and for the past 3 years, I have been writing a variety of Pokemon and recently Star Wars fanfictions, with my most recent fanfic that I'm still working on right now being a Star Wars What If fanfic involving everyone's favorite Force user, Revan. In fact, I still have a bunch more fanfictions that I don't have uploaded yet, or haven't uploaded in quite a long time. And if you want to see those fanfics, go over to my Wattpad page and follow me there and read some of my fanfics. And if you want to as well, drop comments in the conversations tab of my Wattpad page, as well as the comments of my fanfictions, and give me constructive feedback as well as ideas for future fanfics. Anything will help. But anyways, guys, thank you all for watching today's video. If you want to, you can leave a like on the video, you can dislike it, you can subscribe to my channel to see more content in the future, but if you also want to see the quality of my content improve, you can also leave a comment down in the comment section below and give your constructive feedback on how I can improve my videos. Bye, guys.